Alright guys, so let's get into part 3 of Searing Reflection Colifero nonsense. So if you've seen part 1 and 2 of this, then you'll know that I'm on some bullshit. This deck is a lot of fun, and it's essentially just trying to combo with Searing Reflection and Colifero. I won't hammer out the description too much because I get into it in part 1 and 2 quite a bit, but some of the changes I made from the last one I mentioned at the end of part 2, so Anachronos is pretty solid. There are quite a few shenanigans that you want to hold off for a little bit that Anachronos helps with, and he's not a bad target for Colifero or Searing Reflection. And I added one more Brute. The Eridar Brute helps some of the aggro matchups a lot. It makes like Shaman a little bit easier to survive the initial assault that they have. But yeah, essentially most of the same elements of the deck, but trying a couple smaller tweaks now. Yeah, this deck originated as something that was a little bit more like life gain heavy, which was a little too cute, I think, to be like consistently good. So now between like the Living Flame to get Searing Reflections, Blob of Tars, and Nomelia as like the earlier game threats, I've been working on making the targets for Searing Reflection and Colifero the best possible. Ysera's been humongous in this because it makes it so that you can do Factory Assembly Bot and the miniature version the same turn. So that puts a lot more pressure. Sometimes you can just end the game that way if you've gotten them to a low enough life total. But yeah, most of the other elements up top are staying pretty consistent. The Angling Rod was a tweak I added on part 2, and that one's just done some serious work. Really helps the early game, gives you other guys that can interact. Sometimes you'll get lucky and get like a grunty off of it. That's happened a couple of times now, and it's phenomenal most times. So let's get into it. So I've got... And one of the things with this deck to be watching is the minions left in your deck. So sometimes you want a Searing Flame, or you want a Searing Reflection or Colifero, but you have to know that the things you're getting are actually going to help the board situation. So sometimes you gotta keep that in mind. So I always keep a little list next to me while I'm playing. This seems okay. I think, yeah, that seems fine. It at least gives me some stuff that I can go on the offensive with. I'm praying they're not Elemental Mage, because that can be a pretty annoying matchup.
Job's done.
Alright.
Reporting for duty.
Let's just go on the offensive. 'Cause if they're just Discover Mage, then I'm going to have some time before they get into anything really powerful. Steamfin is interesting. I assume this secret will give them 8 armor? Yeah. Seems pretty standard for them. Let's do this. Yeah, that's awesome. And that will also trigger Kindred for the Steamfin Thief, which will be great next turn. Cost equal to your remaining mana crystals. Okay.
What happened to no one left behind?
Well then, that's a very good draw for them. And that came off of, yeah, the Scrappy Scavenger. Scavenger. How rude of them.
Step forth into the time waves.
That's pretty good. And the battle cry triggers twice, I think. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So, from here... I'm tempted to go Angler.
I wonder.
So I'm tempted to go Angler and maybe Hammer. I don't think I can justify Consecration here. I'm tempted to do this because that'll put more pressure on him. But I am also thinking about this in a couple turns, so that would help me accrue some minions. And it also protects these guys from counterattacks. I think that's better. Is that worth it, though? I don't think. Yeah, whatever they got has got a bonus on that, so it's probably better to save that. Seems good.
For justice.
Wow, Braingill. I don't think I play Braingill here because drawing more cards isn't necessarily going to help me. Very likely I'll just draw more minions that would decrease my targets for something like Colifero next turn.
Let me think.
You know, I am going to get... no, I don't think I can justify it. Let's do this. Probably have 3 or 4 guys next turn to Colifero, and that should be powerful enough. Living Flame is still in the deck, so that could be a buzzkill. But like Blob of Tars, Nomelia, Ragnaros would be amazing. Yeah, like Factory or Ragnaros would be ideal, I think. But yeah, pretty much anything would be fine outside of Living Flame, which is... yeah, I've still got so many targets in there.
This is not what we stood for. Confine yourself to me.
Yeah, I don't think anything but this is correct here. Something good, something good. Cool. Yeah, hard to argue with that. Jeez. Okay, they got 3 spells that cost 1. What? Alright. How is that a fire spell? Oh, because it was off of this. Of course, of course.
Runs out on me.
They got 10 cards in hand. So if I kill this guy, they're going to burn their highest cost minion. Nope. Never mind. Now they're down to 9. Good call. I could have quality consecration. It doesn't seem great, though.
I wonder.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna run it, because I have enough guys to... I can do quite a bit with this.
For justice.
My hand is too full.
Sure. That works. That was a great card to discard. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful card. Okay. That seems good. That's a very good card. Treacherous Tormentor. Okay, so... I don't think Ziliax is the right call here. I think Tyrion or Ragnaros is probably the play. Yeah, I think Ragnaros behind this board of taunt minions is pretty solid. And then I could just make that guy a 1/1. I mean, it's going to die if it attacks. You know what? Let's just put more pressure. And sure, if this hits that, I'll feel silly. Okay, that's even better.
Give the Legion a taste of their own chaos.
Okay, so that doesn't really help him much.
My hatred cannot be contained.
Ay, ay, ay. Hey, I know that card. Good old Nomelia. Doesn't seem like the worst. I'm not sure if that's the right call here. Nice. Okay. Yeah. And then let's do this. And chronological aura seems okay here. No, I think Blob of Tar is better.
Move quickly.
This is how big again? 1212. Goodness. Okay. Wow. That works.
Time runs out on me.
We have a problem.
Jeez. Okay then. Good old Searing Reflection. So I think Ziliax is probably the play here, because it also protects the guys I've got.
I wonder.
You know, I could Chronological Aura and Searing Reflection, though. That seems pretty solid. Doesn't quite take care of very many minions.
Let me think.
Well, let's roll the dice. Nice. Okay, good stuff. So I'll do that. This. And let's see where that gets me. Sure. Awesome. Okay. This 12-12 might be a pain to deal with, but I'm not super concerned. That was one thing that held back Ziliax. Ziliax can just take care of it, but it is going to have... Oh, it doesn't even have Rush or anything. So next turn, I might Factory Assembly Bot with the Mini also, since I've got more than 11 mana. That could help close out the game faster.
Time runs out on me.
Good trade. All right. Okay, nice to have an Akranos there. Yeah, this seems solid.
I'm my best assistant.
We could use another me.
Reporting for duty.
Assembly line.
I assume they're going to use their hero power on the mini factory bot. Unless they have other things in mind. Sure. I would assume that we're going to get blizzarded or something. Please just draw cards. Ah, fine. Anachronos may help here. But I think Ziliax is probably better. I am getting a 3/5 at the end of the turn one last time. Tyrion could also help.
I wonder.
That's secret, though. Let's do this, because at least I won't take damage if it's the one that deals damage to a minion. Okay, so it's probably the armor. Let's see. Let's do that. Good.
Move quickly.
And I want to leave space for this and that. Yeah, I hope they don't get another Flame Strike or something off of that. That would be pretty bad. Even Blizzard would be pretty bad. Fair. Jeez.
Time runs out on me.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Jeez, okay. This is turning around very quickly. I think Anachronos into Tyrion is probably the best bet here.
Mistakes of the past.
And then we pray.
Put your faith in the light.
This could be a tough one, guys. Come on now. I think the thing that will probably matter the most is the helpful spell at the end of the turn. Wow. Pretty good. Nice.
Time runs out on me.
I think there's one factory bot left in the deck. Possibly a brute also? I'm not super sure. Like I said, that's probably going to matter the most, and it did. Alright, 0-1 after Mage. Just a 25-minute game one, come on. That's crazy. That was nuts. So, as we learned in part 2, you normally only get about 3 games with this deck, because the games go long. It is pretty slow.
Uther versus Vanessa.
This is just a practice round.
I will fight with honor.
I'm tempted to keep double Searing Reflection, especially because I have double removal. Let's give it a run. And I've got enough legendary minions that I'm not too worried about King Lane being drawn. Especially with the weapon that they use. Okay. I still haven't used this to make a friendly guy a 3/3. Never really seemed super useful. I've always wondered, but I haven't encountered a situation where that felt right. Tempted to Consecration here. Yeah, why not? Pretty much just gotta survive 3 more turns.
Rot number 802, welcome to the collection.
Nice draw, okay. So looking pretty good for turns 6 and 7 Searing Reflections. They must have a combo card they want to
Rot
play?
number 802, welcome to the collection.
The granite war fools for rejected power.
Okay. Seems pretty good. It's definitely getting a holy glow stick. Ooh, very nice. Perfect setup. Alright. That's the risk you run. Could have been a living flame or something, so I'm fine with that. Still have pretty much all the threats in the deck, except for Ysera, which, again, I'm totally fine with not getting off of that. Sure. Let's do it again. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. So, yeah, let's hit this guy, because I don't want them to make an Archon, and it also clears the way for this guy.
Stand with me.
Totally cool with that. I don't think there's much need to do anything here, really. Like, I could hammer. Yeah, let's hammer so that this will kill them. And that is a game. Quickest win so far with Searing Reflections. Turn 8. That's how we do it. Yeah, at first this felt like a really stupid, silly deck, but once I realized that I should add Factory Assembly Bot, I saw a lot more potential for games like that. It did help that they seemed to run out of steam. I mean, all they did on that last turn, was it their turn 6, was weapon back up and pass. So I think at that point it was having double Searing Reflection was pretty game ending. Okay, so Demon Hunter. I think we do this. Alright. That's crazy. 25-minute game 1 and like a 7-minute game 2. This deck got range in ways you did not even imagine.
Well met. My wool itches for war.
Of course. So unfortunately, that's not going to do much against this guy.
Reporting for duty.
This seems like a pretty slow start for that deck. Okay, so now Consecration's definitely happening. So I'm going to go Consecration into Blob of Tar. I think that's good enough that they're going to have a hard time putting pressure. I could also do this guy. I wouldn't be surprised if they red card it. It seems worth the risk.
Our betrayers will suffer endless torment.
Yeah, no red card, no red card, no red card. Red card. Okay. Consecration off the top? Anything but. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the only way to go. I mean, I could, like, Mark of Ursal both of these, but they're still going to hit me for 4, and they do have enough. Like, they've got one more stinger. Yeah, maybe I should have gone turn 4 blob because I was anticipating the potential of a red card and then gone this guy. Because then they would have had to use the stingers on it and possibly the grub, which would have hopefully gained me some life. Yeah, I think this leaves me less open to stuff. Because if they have another red card, it's just over. And I know they have one stinger already. So the stinger takes out the blob of tar, and then I've only got the 1/2 taunt left over. Obviously the poisonous one, but the... And I also get this back next turn, so... Ball hog, jeez. This is an interesting version of Demon Hunter. So I need something to gain life next turn. Glow stick, anything like that. That could draw a glow stick. So I can't kill that because that'll kill me. And I don't want to kill that because that's going to give them hot coals. So glow stick off the top. Another hammer, come on. Alright, let's do this then. Ah, no Melia, like 2 turns too late. Would have been great that turn, but probably would have just ended up with me dying anyway. There it is. So yeah, I should have gone turn 4 Blobatar instead of the Brute. Either way, they would have got through with Kayn. That's what Demon Hunter does. So 1-2 after 3 games. Yeah, 25-minute game 1, 10 minutes for 2 more games. Alright, this will probably be the last one, depending on what it is.
Uther versus Huln.
A wild hunt.
Okay, Hunter will definitely be a difficult matchup. I don't think I can justify keeping equality. Yeah, let's see what happens here. And I probably shouldn't have kept equality last game out also against the Demon Hunter. I think that's another thing that affected the game, but...
Job's done.
Okay, then. I think this is just fine.
Sisters, my will shall lead us to victory!
Sure. That's actually not bad. So I can do this, and then I've got these 2. Yeah, this Hunter deck is pretty good if it's the version I'm thinking of. I think they play the card that turns your hero power into tracking. So they can just keep discovering a card in their deck every turn.
My instinct shall hunt down our enemies.
Jeez. Yeah, the Rangers are pretty crazy in Hunter. I do like the idea of fabled cards because you get basically the Varisa plus Ilaria and the other one all off of one card basically. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this and just bash face. I'm tempted to hammer them in the face, but I don't know that that would... Yeah, that seems okay. Cool. Yeah, sometimes... Indeed, silly decks. Welcome to the Twitch chat. I'm not sure where you're getting the sausage and silly sausage from, so you're going to have to educate me there, man. But, yeah, this deck is way too much fun. So, Searing Reflection next turn is... or this turn, should hopefully do some real damage. Let's see what we get. Ah, not the best, but that's fine. At least I've got an Aggro to be able to get rid of stuff that they play with. Yeah, like this guy is very good.
Sisters, my arrows shall strike down our foes.
Seems good.
Drink with me, friend.
Dang, that's very good for them. Wow. So I can Consecration. That makes Holy Glow Sticks cost 1. That would be 4 mana, 4 left. That seems alright. Not the best, though. Anachronos doesn't feel right here. I think I'm going to go with this. I could also Consecration Chronological Aura, but that feels a little worse. Yeah, I feel like I gotta get rid of that guy because it's so powerful. Yeah, pretty much all the same here. That, and this, and that. Yeah, I want to hit him in the face with that, get him down to 9. Much more reasonable to be able to kill him with Factory Assembly Bot. But, yeah, if they can discover more cards with that guy, I feel like they get so much advantage, they'd be able to pull themselves out of that hole. So, if you're watching on YouTube, check out the Twitch, and if you're watching on Twitch, check out the YouTube. I got the same handle on both of them. Almost 70 videos on YouTube. Some silly decks like this, but then also some competitive stuff. A lot of battlegrounds as well. Okay, so now Anachronos feels a little better, but down to 8 is not good.
Mistakes of the past rewritten.
Thankfully I got an Assembly Bot next turn. And then since Ysera's in the deck and I'll go to 11 mana, I can do the other Assembly Bot and the Mini the following turn. What's the most famous food in the place you live? Well, I'm from LA area, like Los Angeles, so I don't know, Pink's Hot Dogs is pretty famous. Wow, what a win. Well done.
Well played.
Alright, one more game with this deck. Yeah, there's, I don't think LA is really known for its food, any particular food places. Like, we've got some pretty good, like street vendors for, like, Mexican food, stuff like that. Pink's Hot Dogs is good, but I feel like it's more like novelty. Like, if you've been to Pink's, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, hot dogs have a ceiling on, like, how good they can be. It's kind of like a hamburger. Like, except I feel like hamburgers, you can make a really good quality hamburger. You know, you could go with the Wagyu beef. You could, like, you know, do all sorts of stuff. But hot dogs are just, they're essentially just byproducts of beef. So they can only be so good in terms of, like, quality of the actual hot dog. Rent expensive in LA? Yeah, very much so. Yeah, rent in LA is pretty awful. Which is funny because I'm actually apartment hunting right now. That's hence the the nicer clothes. Normally I'm more casual.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, the rent out in Los Angeles is crazy. I live outside of Los Angeles, the city. I'm in the general area, so it's a little bit better out here, but like I know people that bought like a $500,000 house in Los Angeles and it's not very big. Like for the same price in like Michigan or Ohio or pretty much anywhere else, you could get like 4 bedrooms for that, but over here you're getting like 2 bedrooms maybe. Yeah, this seems good. So Shaman is normally a tough matchup, but since I've added the Eridar Brute, this matchup has gotten a lot better. Oof, yeah, that's pretty rough. Consecration is okay, but I mean I can Consecration and glow stick the other guy. They're still gonna get that weapon to their hand though, that weapon is normally a big problem.
I wonder.
Yeah, I think hammer here, and then glow stick, so now I have at least Consecration up for later. Yeah, that seems good. Have I ever played Seismopod Druid? Is that this standard season or past standard season? I don't think I've played it. I haven't played Druid in this standard season at all. It's been a long time since I've played Druid in standard. I mean, I've been playing Hearthstone for 9 or 10 years now, something like that. And there was a ramp deck that I used to love. It had this 9-mana guy that pulled 3 dragons out of your deck. That was nuts. I used to be able to do that on turn 5. That was before they nerfed Innervate and those types of cards.
Let me think.
What to do here? I think Blob of Tar and Hero Power is fine. Yeah, that guy's really good. Now they just got slimes that are going to make, more taunt minions or deal damage or something. Shaman is extremely powerful right now. Yeah, the last little tweaks I did to this deck were pretty much so that the Shaman matchup would get better, because it was atrocious before I added some of these cards. There it is, like I said, more Tonkais. So Quality Consecration is okay here, but I think Searing Reflection's probably better. I just hope. So thankfully I drew the Living Flame, so I'm not going to get a Living Flame off of this. Factory assembly bot would be good. Ragnaros is okay. Okay. Let's do this, I guess. I can't kill the other one, so I'm not going to bother. Hit the 5/5? Okay. Right. And I can just follow up with another Ragnaros after this. That could be a lot of pressure for him. Oh, Seismopod Druid. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Oy, oy, oy. Yeah, that deck is pretty difficult to beat. Especially when they start recurring the Seismopods with, or they have that 7-mana guy, I think, that triggers all your past death rattles. So Quality Consecration seems pretty clutch here. And then I can also play this guy to get another, what's it called out of my deck? Get another Searing Reflection. I'm tempted to use the Holy Glow Sticks on it, but that feels a little greedy. Like, I've still got a Ragnaros in play. Like, no need to kill my own guy. It would ensure it happens next turn, but I've still got another Ragnaros I can drop, so no need to burn through the threats I have. There it is. Ooh, and Colifero. Okay. I think Colifero is better here. Because if that gets factory assembly bot, that's just nutty. Come on. Okay. So I go here. Board. Yeah, Colifero is currently one of my favorite cards. Fair enough, okay. Jeez. They got a lot of pumps this game. I think I'm going to do this next turn with the mini, so that way I have 2 of them, or 2 of the 6/7s that attack.
Let me think.
In the meantime, I'm not sure if Searing Reflection is the play. I could Nomelia, hit that. That'll take 4 plus 2, and then I can Holy Glow Sticks. Hit them for 6. It's alright. It's not the best.
I must move quickly.
I would like to hold Nomelia for something else, though. Yeah, let's do this instead. That seems a little better.
I remember this place well.
That is crazy pumps. Okay, so they're at 13. Yeah, I think this is the best bet for closing out the game here. Just gotta hit them once. Just one hit. Come on. Come on. There we go. This is crazy. So in the time it took me to play the first game, I've played about 4 more. This deck is normally a little slower, but either I'm getting the hang of it more or something. But let's get one more in here. I'm hoping this is not another 25-minute game. Yeah, I think this deck still has potential to be something good. I just have to find the right mix of cards. I was trying Grime Street Paladin for a while, just like hand pump stuff. And against a mage. So I'm gonna throw this back, but I'm gonna pray that they're not on Elemental Mage. I think I should keep this just in case. Let's see how that works. Yeah, Grime Street Paladin was a lot of fun, but I couldn't find a version that got close enough to like actually good. It was so much fun, and there's a lot of cool interactions you can make. Like, yeah, a lot of it was just silly stuff. Like I ended up having to play some iffy cards, but like the power of something like Hourglass Attendant is pretty clear. It gives +1/+1 at the end of your turn to all the guys in your hand. So if it sticks around for 2 or more turns, it's pretty awesome.
Reporting for duty.
So it seems like they do I not net deck or make my own stuff? So I kind of do both. So I try to keep a good finger on the pulse of where the standard metagame is, and I also so I've talked about this on stream and in some videos before. So basically I've played Magic the Gathering for 20 years or so off and on, and one of the biggest strengths I had in that was deck building. So I feel like a lot of people just rely too much on the internet decks, and then they lose that creative muscle to be able to see when something is actually good. They just rely on other people to tell them when something is good. And so I've always tried to kind of foster that muscle and creativity when I play, so that I'm not just out there because for me it doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel like a game when I'm just out there finding the best deck online, playing the best deck, and then just grinding through games, and it just becomes like a percentage thing. It feels like a job. And it's like, that's not why I play games. That's why some people play games. Because, I mean, I feel like some of that is ego talking. You want to be the best at something, and it's much easier to be good at a video game than it is at things in real life. So some people compensate for stuff like that. But yeah, not to go down a psychological rabbit hole. But I think... Yeah, I'm just going to keep pressure on him here. But I think that it's really important to be able to make your own decks to a certain point. And I played a lot of Magic drafts, which is similar to Arena and Hearthstone. So the difference between Magic and Hearthstone, if you guys don't know, is they're very similar. Hearthstone is very obviously based on a lot of the game mechanics from Magic, with some tweaks. But in Magic, instead of having mana crystals, you have land, which make mana. And so in each of your decks, instead of just being I get 1 mana crystal every turn, you have to put a certain amount of land in your deck so that you'll be able to play the things that you have. And they could cost anywhere from 1 to 20 or something. And so it forces you to have to think about your deck, and kind of how the same way that Hearthstone has classes, Magic has colors. But you can mix whatever colors in Magic you want. So then you have to think about which colors of land you need in order to play the stuff that you want to play at the right time. And so it really forces you to think about your deck building a lot differently. Alright, that's okay. And so Magic always fostered that in me. So I feel like net decking is kind of a crutch for the majority of players out there. And so this is a good thing to do. Like, that's part of why I started this series. This is gonna be, so I'm gonna post this on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the Twitch, same handle. But I'm gonna be posting this on YouTube, and there's, you know, this is gonna be part 3, I think, in the series. I'll probably go to 5 or 6 parts. And it's literally just to show that, like, I take this silly idea that was awful in the first part, and it just gets a little bit better each time. That's a good draw. These guys will be handy in a couple turns. So I want to be careful about overextending. I think hammer here is okay. Nice. Colifero is going to be great with this board.
Reporting for duty.
So the thing is, I have a hard time finding things that I want to actually make silly decks with. Like right now, I'm a little focused on Paladin. It's where I have, I think, the most cards. I usually pick like a couple of classes in a standard season and stick to those classes, because then I'm not like spread apart between all the different classes. I always ended up having like half a deck built in like all the classes. So as soon as I cut it down to a couple classes that I focus on, I was able to have like quite a few decks. Like right now, I'm a big fan of Demon Hunter and Paladin. Dragon Warrior does seem fun. I will say I was very happy to see Dragon Warrior come up in the standard metagame, because I think we needed more interesting decks like that. Like, Death Knight was everywhere. Before this last set came out and Across the Timeways, I was really sick of Death Knight. So Colifero seems fantastic here. That's going to make my whole board something good. I just pray that that something it makes it is not going to be a Living Flame. I think, did I play the Living Flame? I think I played the Living Flame already, so I should be safe from that. Let's see. Ragnaros? Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, this is why I wanted to play the deck. I played Colifero in Cliff Dive Demon Hunter for a while, and that would make, I forget what he's called, something Inquisitor, but it's an 8-mana 8/8, and when you attack with your hero, the Inquisitor also attacks it. So if you use Colifero to make a couple of the Inquisitors, and then you attack the enemy after, then they just take like I've hit people for 40 in one turn with that. Quite a few times, actually. It's a very consistent deck. And then it also ran like Blob of Tar and Ravenous Fellhunter. So you were just recurring Blob of Tars over and over again. And then Return Policy triggers a Death Rattle. So you can get the Death Rattle off of Ravenous Fellhunter, which makes 2 more Blob of Tars, and then puts a Ravenous Fellhunter in your hand. So you were making like 8 Blob of Tar a game minimum, in addition to the Cliff Dives with other stuff. Like, that deck was a lot of fun. I don't think it's quite as good in Standard anymore. Yeah, they're just dead, right? Aren't they just dead? For exact. And that is how you do it. That's why I play this deck. So 3 and 3. Wow. That's the way it's supposed to go. Alright, so I think that's going to be the end of part 3 on YouTube. So thanks for watching, guys. Definitely check out the rest of the videos and peep the Twitch. I do the live streams with this for the videos that I put on YouTube. So if you want to see it before then, definitely check those out.